Welcome to Humble Narcissist Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Stephen.
I'm Dillon.
And this week we are going to be talking about final girls for spooky season.
Right.
Because last week we did villains. Mm-hmm. So now Dillon wanted to do final girls.
Well, yeah, they're the heroes of the movies.
You know, I know deep down I wouldn't be a final girl.
Oh, no.
I'd probably be one of the first ones to die due to the fact of I can't run, I'm gay, and those two together.
Right.
And I have a problem going off on my own. Like when we did the ghost hunt, Corey pointed out that in the middle of the building, I decided to go off by myself in an abandoned building at like midnight.
Fun.
So he was like, I was worried something was going to happen to you, so I had to follow you. And I was like, I was fine.
Right.
Which is what everybody says right before they get killed.
Exactly, but the ghost didn't want to touch you, so.
I know. I was like, it's not like anybody was talking to me anyway.
Exactly.
So
they spoke to your mom.
And my mom was like, you don't want to talk to him. He's a bust, man.
Right.
He's like my worst out of the 5. So what have you been up to, Dillon?
Just playing video games.
And working.
Yeah.
You had a fun little work trip that you went to.
Oh, yeah, that was a blast.
I know. You said that you had such a good time.
I disassociated. It was glorious.
That's what you do when you're dealing with a stressful situation. You just disassociate everything. But I have been going to the doctor and doing my therapy, working on my depression.
Because you're crazy.
I'm crazy, though my therapist says that I'm not, like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not really crazy. So that's a positive.
Well, there's 2 types of crazy. There's horizontal and vertical.
Shut up, Dillon. That's a dark joke. If you don't get it, you should Google it because I don't want to explain it.
I'm sure they understand.
Not everybody will understand that joke, Dillon. Not everybody's like dark like we are. So I've been doing therapy. Today's session, I went today, so it was pretty heavier than normal. So,
is it because you're plus sized?
Yes, Dylan, it's because I'm extra. I am plus size, and I'm not even the good plus size that can be a model.
Right.
Other than that, I watched Agatha last night because I am like every other Marvel gay at the moment. I stop everything that I'm doing on Wednesday night to watch it.
I have to say, this has probably been one of the best Marvel shows in a while.
I was going to say, I think this and WandaVision are the 2 best that they've ever done, in my own personal opinion. I think it's
because they actually put time and effort into them.
I agree with that. Dillon wasn't so sharp on the new episode. Like, he didn't really care for it because it was just an information dump.
Yeah, it was just slow. I thought there could have been better ways of doing it.
You know what it kind of reminded me of when you said that it was slow and like just an information dump? It made me think of the Eternals.
Yes.
And how they got, like, they're not getting their second movie now because how everybody hated it.
Because it was slow and an information dump.
But I mean, I feel like in Agatha, it was necessary because you needed to understand where this person was coming from, and so that you could know what really happened to Billy when Wanda stopped the spell.
Yes, but I feel like they could have done it a little differently or condensed it a little more, but still telling the same story, and it would have been fine.
I can see that. And you also brought up a good point where you said that you thought that this one could have been shorter and last week's could have been longer. And I agree with that as well, because last week's episode was pretty damn good.
It was the shortest in the season. And then this one was the longest.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was 49 minutes.
But is it going to be the longest, like,
I don't know.
Towards the end?
We have 3 more episodes.
I know. That part makes me sad, but I love this series. I think that they did a really good job with this. And I really hope that Billy gets his brother at the end of the road.
Well, I don't think he's going to get him at the end of the road. I think it's going to ultimately branch off into, like, the Young Avengers, and then they will get him. Because remember, the Young Avengers breaks them out.
Well, Young Avengers, he got with his brother, but it was the Young Avengers that found Scarlet Witch.
Well, the Young Avengers actually broke Tommy out of the detention center he was in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tommy's in a detention center?
Yeah. So you know how Billy went into William or whatever Tommy went into someone else who lived the struggled life, apparently. And I guess when he got his powers, he like obliterated like a whole town or something. He like killed people or something. So they put him in like a high security thing.
Oh,
and then
like
I guess
his mom.
Right. And then I guess the Young Avengers are the ones that break him out.
So they just break the law to get him.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right for every superhero thing. So that's really what we've been up to. So
because we live exciting lives.
We sure do, Dylan. We do. We're going to, at this time, dive into our topic for the week, and we're going to talk about the final girls.
So what do you think about final girls?
Depending on the final girl, I like the concept because the girl has to, she's the only one in the end that can kill the killer.
Well, at least make it out or be the hero of the movie.
Right. She's like the one that makes it out and survives. And depending on who it is, I like the concept. Mm-hmm. I do like that nowadays, like, they're now making it so that there's final guys as well.
Yeah, because they're getting a little more progressive.
But altogether, I really like the horror genre and all that. So I really like when, like, you find out the one way of beating whatever's after you.
You know who I'm glad wasn't a final girl?
Who?
That blonde chick from Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, my God.
She was so annoying.
So that movie had a weird obsession with, like, spitting shit in people's mouths.
Mm-hmm. And goats.
Yeah, and goats. Like, the whole time. Oh, my God. You brought up the goat, and now I remember that scene.
It was like, bah, you bitch.
Yes. Because she puts the demon in, like, a goat, doesn't she?
Yes.
I will always remember that.
I haven't watched that in forever.
I haven't either, but it came up in like one of the movies you should watch, and I was like, no, thank you, because that one, it was so weird. Like the witch just kept like spitting green goo in her mouth, and then like the goat scene where he's like, "Bah, you bitch," and it's just like, this is getting ridiculous. This is dumb. So
and then like she dropped a quarter or something on train tracks
and decided to go get it.
Yes, and then they drug her to hell.
It's like, what the, pun intended, hell, what the hell is wrong with you? If you like dropped a quarter on the train tracks, I wouldn't go get it. Like I'd be like, I guess I'm out 25 cents.
You know who else is a final girl? I just thought of this.
Who?
Cindy from Scary Movie.
She is a final girl.
Her and Brenda both.
That's right. But Brenda sometimes, she's died before.
No.
Because, yeah, she has. Because in 3, if you remember, she died because of the girl from The Ring.
Oh, I didn't watch 3 because I didn't like it.
Oh, well, I love Brenda and Sydney. They are final girls in my heart. But Sydney is a final girl because she always ends up in the end. Do you remember in the first one, there was that scene where she sits there and she's fighting the ghost face and like it's the Matrix?
Yes.
That's my favorite part in that. That and then when she's going up the stairs throwing stuff at him. Her grandma's like, Sydney. And she's like, Grandma.
Well, that's the first one. The ghost. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
Ghostface was the first one.
Yeah.
Because the second one is literal ghosts is what they're up against. It's
like House on Haunted Hill. Yeah.
But the first 2 are the best. And I swear they need to, if they do a third one or like another one,
yes,
they need to bring back the Wayans brothers to do it because
it
went downhill afterwards. But I mean, Marlon might have something to do with Diddy, allegedly. So
I
guess one of them won't be coming back. And I couldn't help but notice, speaking of the Diddy stuff, now that I'm on that topic, Kevin Hart's not in the new Rock movie about Santa Claus. Coincidence?
I'm okay with that.
I am okay with it. Kevin Hart gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
I do like his interview show, though, because some of them are really good. But yeah.
So before we get into the list, do you have any favorite final girls?
My personal favorite is most definitely... My favorite is probably... what is her name in The Nun? Tessa...
Farmiga?
Yes, I like her character in The Nun.
I've never seen it.
Never? She's my favorite final girl because she, like, battles the nun and they use, like, their Jesus powers versus the nun's devil
technically,
powers.
she is a final girl in The Final Girls.
That's right, she is. Tessa on The Nun, she was my favorite because she had to use her Jesus-y powers to take out the devil powers. And, God, It's been a while since I've watched the first Nun, but the second one was really good when she's like going through like Rome and hunting down the demon with the priest.
Okay. Are any of those streaming? I would think maybe on Max.
Probably Max, because they have The Conjuring and all that, and it's the same universe. Okay. And fun fact, my husband yesterday wanted to watch The Conjuring, so we watched it. Mm-hmm. And thanks to my friend Dylan, because, you know, all this random bullshit that doesn't matter, he was like, does that actress have a daughter? And I go, are you thinking of the girl from The Nun? He goes, yeah. I go, that's her sister.
You're welcome.
It's like, yeah.
I don't like remember like what stuff I should remember. It's just random facts.
I know. I'm the same way. Work, I would forget everything. But like if you ask me like video game knowledge or entertainment news, I'm spot on.
Exact celebrity, yeah.
So now that we've kind of like teed this up, we're going to get into the list.
Wow, I asked you about your final girl, but you don't ask me about mine.
Dylan.
What a dick.
Dylan, who is your final girl? I
know, I have to think. I was just giving you shit because you didn't ask me.
I mean, you brought up a good point. I should ask you. Who's your final girl, Dylan?
Was Shelley Duvall technically a final girl?
For The Shining?
Yeah.
I don't know. She was the only girl, but
she didn't die.
She didn't die, but she also wasn't the cause of him like the bad guy dying. That was her son. Her son killed his dad.
I mean, I don't want to be cliche and say Laurie Strode, because like she looks a little scary nowadays. Like she looks like her brother.
Well, to be fair, listener, earlier when we were talking about final girls and putting together a list and like where we could go to find the
only
list,
one I could remember was Laurie.
Yeah, so she's probably most definitely your favorite.
Honestly, my favorite final girl isn't a final girl.
Who was it?
It was Sarah Michelle Gellar in both Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer because she fought.
You know, she did fight.
Yeah, like she ran up and down that sorority house until she was pushed off the building.
She's always been a fighter, though. But she's never been a final girl, has she?
No.
Except in Buffy. She was technically the final girl in every episode of Buffy.
Yes.
Because she was the Slayer. Mm-hmm. I can definitely see that. Because
I guess the girl from Ready or Not, she was a good final girl.
Ooh, the hide and seek movie.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, Corey just watched that for the first time.
Really?
The other day.
You know they're doing a sequel, right?
I do, but I don't know how they're going to do that because that family is dead now. So how is she going to do Ready or Not a second time?
Right.
Could you imagine, though, if what they do? So Dylan, you meet the love of your life and you get married and his family tries to kill you playing hide and seek and you win. And then you meet another guy that you're like, yay, I love him so much. But then his family does the same thing. What's going through your head in this instance?
What did I do wrong? It's one of those things.
Where you're just like, the first time you're like, oh, it's totally them. They're the crazy ones. Then the second time you're like, shit, maybe I'm the problem.
Right.
Maybe my face is just a kill me face.
But she was so good. Like, she wasn't a final girl in Scream. She died first in that newest one.
No, the girl from Ready or Not. Yeah, she was a really good final girl. And then I loved at the end of that movie where all of them just exploded. I was like, that's what you get, assholes.
Yes.
Like, I was like, good for her. And then I liked the ending line that they had where the police are like, what happened? And she's like, in-laws. And she's smoking. I'm like, that's a good like ending line because they tried to kill you.
Right.
And I also really liked when her husband discovered that she killed his mom, and that's when he turned. And then, like, when he knew he was about to die, he was like, please don't leave me.
You know, I really liked What's-Her-Face in Final Destination, who played Clear, Allie Larder.
Oh, was she the final girl in that?
Technically, she survived the first one. She died in the second, but that's only because that stupid bitch lured her out of the crazy ward.
Oh, yeah, because the crazy ward is where she was so that she didn't die.
Exactly.
Oh. I mean, we're talking about a lot of final girls, so maybe we should just take a quick moment. We will bust out the list. We'll be right back, and then we will go through the list and talk about all of the final girls.
That's fine.
That's fine. You sound like you're not thrilled about it. This was your idea, mind you. So, listener,
I'm just okay with talking about Final Girls.
If this goes terrible, listener, it's all on Dillon.
Because I'm enjoying just talking about them and then what kind of movies they are from.
I agree, but I also want to go through like a list. That way we won't like leave out a big one, you know?
I'm sure we won't leave out a big one, but we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. We are back with our list of Final Girls.
Right.
Starting off with Final Girl 1.
Well, this is the absolute best horror movie Final Girls ever.
According to
Phil Owens.
Shout out Phil Owens. I don't know.
Owen.
So, where do you want to start?
So, I'm going to just go through the list. Tree Gelbman from Happy Death Day.
So, I've never personally seen this movie, but I've seen all of the funny TikToks.
Though.
So, is it really worth watching?
I liked it.
Because I know that
it's something to watch while you grind.
On a video game.
Yeah.
I'm leaving that in. So, I know that from the TikToks and everything that this is the one where she relives her death.
Yeah, it's like Happy Gilmore, but
she's like,
she keeps getting murdered.
Does she have to figure out like
who the murderer is? Yeah,
in order to like stop herself from getting killed. Is that the whole thing?
Uh-huh.
And then my favorite TikTok that came from that is her sitting there going, "You are gay." So maybe I do want to watch new horror movies, so maybe I'll watch that.
You should.
I know that it got a sequel too.
Yeah, there's 2.
So is the second one just as good as the first, or have you not seen the second one?
I cannot recall. I think I watched it, but I cannot recall. The first one wasn't bad, though.
So then do you like her as one of the final girls?
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean,
I could see it.
If she had to keep dying over and over again, though, is she really a final girl?
Hit and miss.
Because final girls don't die.
Because, I mean, technically you could say Norma Bates is a final girl.
You are stupid. Okay. So next up on your list.
So I'm going to actually skip this one because it's Grace from Ready or Not. And we just talked about her.
We did just talk about her. So I agree that she's a great final girl.
Cassidy from Sorority Row. Have you watched that movie? It's terrible.
I think I have.
It had Rumor Willis in it.
Yes, I did. And that, like, I don't really remember it, though.
It is terrible.
You can take the lead on this. What are your thoughts on her? Because
I don't remember her as a final girl. I thought she was just basic.
Oh, well, I mean, usually it's the basic girl that makes it to the end for some reason.
Right? And I don't get it.
Hence, like, Sydney, because she was kind of basic.
Yeah. But it's all the final girl is always the virgin.
That's true. If you have sex, you die, and that has been proven in like every horror movie. And then if you watch The Final Girls, my favorite part of that movie was when they dressed the slut up in like 10 different layers of clothing.
Yes, and then she had to do the striptease just to
lure the killer.
Yes.
Oh, it cracked me up because I watched it because last time we were talking about this movie, and Dylan told me that I needed to watch it. Because I said I've never seen it, but halfway through it, it hit me. I have seen this, and it still holds up. It was still freaking hilarious.
It was good.
It was a really good like comedy horror. So,
all right,
who's next on your list?
Alice from Friday the 13th, Part 2. I haven't seen Friday the 13th, like the originals, in a hot minute.
I haven't either.
But wasn't Part 2 the one where it was his mother killing people?
I think it might have been. My thing with Jason with the final girls is that even though like they kill him in the end, he's not really dead.
No.
Like he still comes back all the time, and it's always the same Jason killing him, just like same with Freddy Krueger, where it's always the same guy just coming back, killing him more. But like, so do they really? So I see why people say that they have final girls, but at the same time, they're not really dead, so...
Well, there's always at least one final girl, because there always has to be at least someone who survives in the end. Because they can't have the villain survive until the next one. That's when true. They need him again.
I like when they do like the tease where they wake up and they're back alive. Oh my God. So sidebar, because we're talking about horror movies and Final Girls and stuff. We watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Because that came out this month. And
how was that?
Just as bad as the first. But it's like a good bad horror, because it's just like, wow, this is ridiculous. Turns out Winnie the Pooh is created by a scientist who did experiments and fused children with animal
Was
DNA.
the scientist named Christopher Robin?
No, Christopher Robin was the one that they were mad at because he left them in the 100-Acre Woods.
Oh.
Because they killed the scientist that created them. And Christopher Robin was their friend. And then it turns out that Christopher Robin's brother that went missing, that was really who Winnie the Pooh was.
Oh.
Going around killing everybody.
Okay.
It was interesting, but we also watched, because we were in like a bad horror movie kind of mood, so we also watched The Mickey Mouse Killer.
Okay.
That one was...
So you were just in that Disney horror...
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse one was worse than Winnie the Pooh. And here's why. Mickey just shows up, kills him, and like teleports away. So like... They can't kill him. He just disappears. But they kept showing Steamboat Willie.
He just shablagoos.
He does. He shablagoos and disappears. So they're like, we got you now. And then they're like, oh, he's gone. And it's like, if he's teleporting, then you can't really get him.
Right.
But it was pretty dumb. Anyway, on to Dylan's list.
Sally Hardstye?
Who's she from?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, the first one. 1974. Ew. She came back for whichever the
newest one. We were talking about that because she was the girl in the town that helped them.
The old lady.
And I didn't realize that was her. But good for her for surviving that freak.
Right.
I prefer the remake on that one though, because wasn't the original like in black and white or some stupid stuff like
color.
That? Oh well. Maybe I should go back and watch that.
Have you watched like X or Pearl or whatever? Because that's kind of like a Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre type thing, isn't it? No?
Not particularly, but they're a trilogy because the last one is like Maxine.
Yes.
So
I know that one's supposed to come out on Max soon.
So yes, I have watched them. I like them. The X one was pretty good because like they all want to film like a porno at this house and they don't know that it's like Pearl and her husband's place and they're nuts.
Who's Pearl?
Pearl is the girl from the movie Pearl because they did X first. And then you find out that Pearl always wanted to be a star, but she has her husband, and her husband like kills people for her and all this stuff.
Okay.
And she kills people as well.
Is that who Mia Goth is?
Yes.
So she's actually Pearl?
She is Pearl in the movie Pearl, but then in the other one, X, she plays a different girl.
Is she a final girl, or is it? Because I thought Jenna Ortega died because she gets shot in the head or something.
I believe they all die.
Oh, okay.
And I prefer Pearl because Pearl cracks me up.
Okay.
Because her husband is at war and she wants to be a star. So she goes and that's where that clip comes from where she's like, but I'm a star! Because she auditions for these people and they're just like, okay, next. And she's like, what? Huh? And they're like, you didn't get it. And that's when she starts freaking out saying she's a star. But she accidentally kills her mom and dad. And then she accidentally kills this guy that she's like banging while her husband's away because he's like, I'm gonna go, Pearl. And she's like, you can't leave me. And she kills him. And then she kills her sister-in-law because her sister-in-law got the job she wanted. But it cracked me up because when she's chasing her sister-in-law, she has the axe. And like her sister-in-law is running so slow. And it's like, girl, I think you want to die. Because she's just like, And then Pearl gets her and kills her.
Okay.
And then her husband comes home at the end of the movie. And then that leads into X.
Okay.
But then the last one is Maxine. But it's really good. My description of it makes it seem really stupid. But
well, that's kind of
it's pretty good.
Another one from that, same like movie company as that Midsgarmer.
I've never watched that one.
Oh, it was weird.
Well, Pearl's really freaking weird too, but I really like it because I love just her sitting there saying, "But I'm a star," because I will always remember that scene. So on to your next final girl.
All right. So let's do Christy Cotton from Hellraiser, which I've never seen Hellraiser.
Yeah, we both talked about how I've never seen this. So why are we doing her?
I don't know. I think Scream has 2 final girls. I know you don't agree, but I think Gale Weathers is one of the final girls.
So let me just argue here with you, because Sidney Prescott's the only one that's actually beat the killer. Gale gets stabbed and disappears and then shows up at the end of the movie once everything is done.
But she actually fights the killer in the newest one because Sidney Prescott didn't want to take the pay cut.
Well, is Gale still alive at the end of that one? That bitch just won't die.
I know.
But Sidney is coming back because in the new one...
Because the girls who replaced her are no longer final girls. Because one got fired for stupid reasons.
And then the other was like, no thank you.
Exactly. But I respect that.
I do respect that because she stood up for her friend.
Yeah.
But Gale... She always got on my nerve.
But she had such iconic bangs in the third... No, was it the second or the third?
I don't know which one it was, but one of the scenes that I always remember is that Alison Brie was in one of the Screams.
Yeah, 4.
And
I like Scream.
I like Scream too. I do think that the very first one was completely all about the fact that her boyfriend was gay and just didn't want to come out.
Yes.
But then you have Sydney survived that one. Mm-hmm. Sydney survives every single one. And she's gotten smarter over the years.
Yeah.
Because she moved out of town. She does all this stuff to make sure that she can defend herself.
And she avoids the stupid people like Gale.
Yes, she does. She avoids her dumb friend that just keeps going back, who's like, you know what? This killer's trying to get me, but I'm going to stay in this town and be a weather girl.
They had what's-her-face, Hayden Panettiere from 4 come back for that new one.
I thought she died in her Scream.
No, apparently she didn't die. She became an FBI agent.
So she left Nashville and became a FBI agent?
Mm-hmm.
Poor girl. That's a real fall for her. But... So I still think that Sydney's the only final girl in that movie, mostly due to the fact that she's the one that always beats the killer, except in the newer one that she refused to come back for. But then Dewey's dead now, though, isn't he?
Yeah, Dewey died, not this last movie, but the movie
one before that Sydney was in.
Yes.
So Dewey finally died. So they had like a final 3 for a long time. It was always those 3 would survive. But then, like... Again, Sydney beat all of them. Even when there were 2 killers at one time running after her, she beat both of them. Mm-hmm. And I think eventually Scream's just going to do like a whole town as just Ghostface trying to kill her.
I'd be okay with that.
I think that'd be interesting. Maybe we should pitch that. Intellectual property right there.
So the next one I'm going to talk about is Nancy Thompson.
Nancy Thompson was on...
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
Remember the bathtub? He comes out with the claw.
Yes. It's like, ooh, you want to get kinky.
Right?
But I don't remember much from the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Was that the one that Johnny Depp was in, though?
Yes, with the 80s, like, crop top.
Yeah. One of them, Freddy like ate in their dream. I don't know if it was the first or second one.
Freddy always eats.
He does always eat. Him and his Christmas sweater.
Yes.
That Dylan rewatched Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, just to see that part.
But did he get Nancy in like a second one or something like that?
I don't remember. I don't recall if she died. Let me.
Or was she smart enough and got off of Elm Street? Because I think I would get off of Elm Street if that was where all the killings were taking place. Do you remember in the remake when he killed, oh God, what was her name from Vampire Diaries?
Nina Dobrev?
No, it was the blonde. Or no, maybe she wasn't in that. There was some blonde girl from the CW that was in it.
In what?
One of the remakes of...
Nightmare on Elm Street. It was Katie Cassidy
Yes. Yeah. And like I remember when he like pinned her to the ceiling and killed her.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why she's the death that I remember, but that's definitely the one I remember the most. That and when he ate the person.
Okay.
But I don't really remember Nancy too much. But my memory's not so great with this.
From the interwebs, it doesn't say that she died.
It doesn't say Nancy Nightmare on Elm Street deceased.
No. We can go with Julie James.
Who's Julie James?
Jennifer Love Hewitt from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Ooh.
Her and Brandy were both the final girls in that series.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah, because Brandy didn't die.
I liked that one. I liked when, because that's the one where they hit the guy and he comes back to like kill him. I enjoy that one. I like the final scene though where they're fighting and they're on like the fishing boat and like she's in all the ice with the shrimp and that's when she's seeing like all of her dead friends. And it's like, girl, he can't sell that to the restaurants now.
Right.
Like he just lost a lot of money on that shrimp.
You know what? What I don't like? Urban Legend. Whatever her name is, the ginger girl. She was annoying as a final girl.
She was annoying, but you know who really ate that role?
Rebecca Gayheart.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a great
She
villain.
was a good villain in that. And she has those piercing blue eyes. I loved Urban Legend, but I forgot all about the annoying ginger girl. I just remember like how good Rebecca Gayheart did in that movie. She ate that role.
Because I forgot that.
And then like she killed that kid, didn't she? Isn't that kind of what happened? How she like disappeared off acting?
Yeah, pretty much.
Allegedly, I don't know if that's been proven, but yeah, like she doesn't really act anymore.
She doesn't, which is sad because I always thought she was great.
She was in Dead Like Me, and she was really good in that. Jawbreaker. Oh.
She was a 90s staple.
She really
90s,
was.
early 2000s staple. So Supernatural, we can go with Ridley from Alien, Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver was a really good final girl. I loved Alien.
All I remember about it is like she ran around in like a white tank top and underwear.
Yeah, because she didn't have time to get dressed. But
no one in a scary movie has time to get dressed.
I mean, if a killer's coming after you, are you really going to stop to put your pants on?
Yes, at least a belt.
I wouldn't.
It would trip me up because I have no ass to carry things up, like keep it intact.
But you don't have to worry about that if you're just in boxers. You could just keep running.
True.
But like, or back then in like the 80s when that movie was made, just tidy whities, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I remember her wearing like the robot suit and like killing the alien and getting off the ship. She was a badass.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie.
That's really about all I remember is like the aliens burst out of people's stomach. Like they made people pregnant so that they would have their babies. And then she was the only one that lived because she killed like the queen alien because she is a badass. And I like Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
And I'm glad that she is a final girl. So far on your list, she's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Who's next on your list?
So I'm kind of going off the list now, but the girl from Fear Street.
The lesbian girl?
Yes.
So Fear Street was that series that was on Netflix.
Yeah, that's kind of like R.L. Stine, but adult.
Yeah.
How they did like 3 different... because they did
entries, because there was the one where she goes back in time and she learns about the witch and all that stuff. She was a good final girl.
She was.
That movie, the one that really sticks out to me was the person that got put through the meat grinder or whatever.
Yes.
That freaked me out. Like that was like, oh,
right. That was the first movie. Out of the 3, which one did you like the best?
Probably the first one, because that's the one that sticks out to me. But
I like the first or the second.
That girl was definitely a good final girl. I will hand it to her.
I didn't like the third one as much.
You didn't?
No, not really.
I can tell you this: in Winnie the Pooh, there's not a final girl. He killed them all. It was pretty gruesome. Christopher Robin lived, but did he though? In the second one, there wasn't really. Well, I guess his girlfriend would be considered the final girl, but they all pretty much got killed in that too. That's the newest horror movie that I've been watching.
Did Chanel and Scream Queens die?
No, she did not.
She would be a final girl.
She's definitely a final girl because she is probably my favorite now that you bring her up. If we're considering her a final girl,
why not?
She is my final girl, like at the top of my list because she fucking nailed that role. Yeah. She was just a stuck-up bitch.
So she played herself.
And I loved where she would, like, she gave all the other girls, like, demeaning nicknames and stuff, like Deaf Taylor Swift. And she's just singing as the killer goes over her head with a lawnmower. I love Scream Queens. I might have to rewatch that this season because that's
a good one.
That is, and Niecy Nash is really good in it too. She'd probably be like a final girl because she lived till the very end.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She my favorite part with her ever in Scream Queens is when she's in the car and she like goes back to her friend Shondell. And Shondell has a knife.
Shondell,
why you got a knife in your throat? And she kicks Shondell out of the car and drives off. That's probably one of my favorite scenes ever in that series. That's another one that I wish, like, that's one that I really wish would come back. But I don't think they'll ever do it. So, those are some of our final girl picks. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about
our final girl.
Final girl. And give our final thoughts for the week. So we will be right back. We are back. And I'm going to let my friend Dylan announce the final girl who's the best of all time in our opinion.
It is Laurie Strode from Halloween.
I think that she's one of the best ones because she, to this day, still keeps living. He's killed all these people around her, killed her daughter now.
Killed all of her fake kids.
Because in the last one he killed Kyle Richards. And she lived. She lived. So she'll probably be back for the next one. But he has killed... Dylan's not thrilled about that. But he has killed like everybody around her. And she still keeps going. Just killed her husband. I remember that. Her son lived but was smart and moved away from her so that he didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Her daughter, in hindsight, probably should have done the same.
When we talk about Laurie Strode, are we going to compare like the remake version of her to the original?
So the remake, I only watched.
I didn't like the remake. I didn't the Rob either. Zombie one.
I didn't care for that. If I'm watching Halloween, I'm going the OGs because like she very first one introduced to Michael, found out that she is his sister. She's the one that lived, and he tries to kill her. So she survives that as she's babysitting. And you talk about a bad bitch. She saved them kids and herself.
Right.
So she's pretty top notch. Usually there's at least one or two casualties, but
they're making her look so scary.
I think that they're making her out to be like all these years have like made her crazy. But and
honestly, I could totally see it by the end of the like whichever the last one is, she's going to actually put on the Michael Myers mask and it was her all along.
That would make no sense, Dylan, because she has fought him.
In her head. It was all just a big schizophrenic break.
What a weird twist that you would say that.
A twist.
Ooh, what a twist. This is not M. Night Shyamalan. But I really liked her
in... It could be an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, Shyamalan movie.
She was, I liked her in Halloween H2O because she ended up saving those kids. Not all of them, but...
No, only the good ones.
Saved her son and his girlfriend. And then... Michael, of course, killed everybody else, killed her love interest. He kills her love interest a lot.
Yeah, you can't be her love interest.
No, and you can't be her kid either because now he kills them. And now, like in the newest one, like he completely wiped out her whole freaking town, basically, because they all came at him with like baseball bats and like telephones and stuff.
Right.
And he still walked away and went and killed her kid. But, I mean, she's still going like 20 years later. So that is like top tier final girl. Because to this day, she is still beating Michael Myers. Like, no offense to all these other final girls other than Sydney. Like, multiple encounters, you're usually done.
Right.
They usually get you. Sydney's only there because she just refuses to die. But so does Jamie Lee.
Right.
Jamie Lee beats him every single time. I love the Halloween movies. I'm ready for the next one. because I heard that this is going to be the final one because she's said that she's getting too old to do this.
Well, I'm tired of all these cash grabs.
I agree. You mean like that terrible one where it was like the reality show and the Michael Myers
with Tyra
house?
Banks in that?
Yeah, that was the worst Halloween. I cannot watch that one because of how bad it was. But all the others are actually pretty good. Like that's one where like the sequels actually can stand up if you go through the like regular timeline. Right. So, any funny comments that you want to make about your final girls?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it is a horror movie trope. It's true, like a staple, because you always have the stupid dumb one who has sex and dies.
Yeah.
You always have the nerdy dude, the jock.
I'd be the nerdy dude who dies.
Girl.
Or who would I be then?
A dead body.
So what is my trope, though?
I don't know. You die before you got a trope.
Yeah. Other than, like, the gay guy.
Right.
But, I mean, girl, you would be in the same boat as me.
Oh, I know this.
And let me just tell you, if we were running together, you'd die first.
Oh, 100%.
I would trip you so quick that you wouldn't even know what happened. Would you treat
Alice from Resident Evil as a final girl?
Oh, yeah. But she was hardcore.
She was
badass.
Because she was, like, genetically engineered.
But she was still badass.
I know.
But, yeah. When it comes to our friendship in a horror movie, I always imagine that scene from High School of the Dead, that anime where the two friends are running down the hallway, and then the one falls and the zombies grab him, and she's like, "Get off me, bitch!"
Right.
And kicks her to the zombies.
That I really, really, even though it's a little fan servicey.
Oh, it's super fan servicey, but that's a good one.
Yeah, like the jiggle physics where they shoot the sniper gun and it goes in between her flopping boobs.
Yeah, that's a little really fan service.
But the English dub is terrible. I really like the Japanese.
I like that one. And I'm sure there's a final girl in that. So
I don't know. It got canceled.
It did get canceled, and that makes me sad. But those are our picks for our final girls. So next week I'll be doing more therapy because I'm doing it weekly.
You crazy girl.
I am crazy for now, but she did tell me that I'm not like insane. Like I'm not going to get committed. Though she also told me that she can't commit me even if she wanted to because it has to be somewhat voluntary. So that made me feel good. I was like, oh, good. I can leave here every time. So yay. So that's what I'll be up to. So if you would, please like and follow. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Patreon. We post weekly for our podcast. If you guys have any topics that you'd like us to cover for spooky season or really any subject at all, you just let us know and we will educate ourselves, hopefully more than we did on Final Girls this week.
Well, this is what we do.
This is what we do. So, Dylan, anything you want to say?
We'll see you guys next week.
Have a wonderful week and stay humble.
Ew. That's so cringy.
I want like a sign off for people. I'm going to leave that in just so that like people can talk about how terrible it sounds.
How cringy it is. Ugh.